Having some struggles there, Freddie?
No.
Whole sports all plays. Yeah. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making the plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the diamond in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace up the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Network. All sports, all plays. Network. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
This is the Fox D Streaming Network. Register to come on our channel at foxdnetwork.com.
Well, good evening, and welcome to the All Sports All Plays Network. My name is Freddie Henderson, joined with Kenny, Tony, Mike. Jay should be joining us real soon. Before we get into sports, the media world here on Facebook or wherever, he was connected. We've lost a friend named Mr. Alex Fleming. He would time for time send us articles or whatever. If you just follow him in his career, we're sorry, saddened by the loss. Prayers for him and his family. Who's ever connected by him or who had anything dealing with Alex. Our condolences to him and his family. I'll let you guys say what you guys want to say. We'll move on.
No, just definitely thoughts and prayers is going out to his family. So he was a guy that was really doing this thing that we do in terms of the sports and the journalism thing. So much respect to him, and just a really sad loss.
Yeah, I agree. It was one of those. I actually did that for a living in the military. I dealt with funerals and dealt with a lot of grieving loved ones every day for 4.5 years. And if there's one thing that I've learned out of all of that, it's it's upsetting that we've lost him and that we'll miss him. But we got to celebrate the fact that we got to know him. We got to celebrate the fact that we had the privilege and honor to get to experience him for who he was, get to experience him for what he loved to do, and the same with us. Then we got to share those joys with him.
Yeah, and I think it's crazy to be thinking about that. And being from Chicago, I see a lot of it. There's a lot of people who have dreams and people who have dreams together. Like Alex was one of those guys. He always told me he was trying to get me to do one of his shows, and he was always trying to have me be mentored by him and follow him for a little bit. And we talked here and there. And I always told him, maybe one day, because what he was doing is, like Freddie said, and like Kenny said, was literally, what we're all aspiring to do. This man was at every interview, was at every backstage event, was at every game possible. And I always told him, man, hopefully one day we'll see you at the big stage, and when we'll be able to have those credentials too, not just riding off you. So it's unfortunate we'll never get to do that. But he's always with us, and he'll always be a part of the ASAP family. So, thoughts out and prayers out to everybody affected by that and him himself. So, you'll always be here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And there's another topic, since let's get away from that, that's sad. Let's do what we do. Before we get into NFL hot takes, we just had some breaking news out of the NFL. John Gruden has been fired from the Las Vegas Raiders. Kenny, I'm gonna let you give your reactions first. And what was your thoughts on that? And did he deserve to be let go? And all that great stuff.
Um, I'm definitely surprised. Totally surprised. Didn't see this coming. I thought maybe there would be a suspension of some kind, or maybe a fine, or something like that. I didn't expect him to be fired. That's for sure. So I'm like kind of processing this and kind of trying to wrap my mind around this. But I did say we was talking before we came on, and I did read a report that there was some more emails that was coming. So clearly there had to be something in those emails that was very telling and very damaging to the point to where they had to make a move. And I will say this: it kind of reminds me of, kind of brings me back to the whole Donald Sterling, to the Clippers a few years back. Just how this has snowballed so quickly, and how it's how the story has moved so fast. So it's just surprising to say the least. So it's really crazy.
For sure, for sure. Mike.
I'm not even gonna lie to you, bro. I didn't even read that shit. Like, respectfully, I don't read ignorance. I don't read details like that. I took the word for the media. I heard pretty much the understanding of what he said. I didn't read into it. I didn't care to read the emails. I didn't care to look into it because obviously, if it's on a national stage and people are saying what essentially what he was saying, I don't read into that stuff. And the same thing with the Clippers old owner. I didn't even listen to those calls because I just don't tolerate that. You know what I mean? So that's on you, bro. And I understand like people change and a lot goes in through age and then a lot of people make stupid mistakes. Like I promise you, bro. Like if my PS4 chats were available from when I was 12 years old, like you would hear some stuff I was saying to kids that should never be said ever. But this was a grown man making these decisions. He wasn't a kid when he was saying this stuff. You see a lot of pictures, a lot of players, their Twitters get hacked. Stuff from 2012 comes back, stuff from when they were kids comes back, and that's completely understandable. But you were a grown man at the time that you sent that email. So I mean, if there are more to come out, it's a true shame. It's a true tragedy that someone like that, that's held to that standard, is one of those guys. Has that kind of mindset and has that kind of mentality when you have such a diverse, job. I mean, you work with people who are so diverse, and you work with people from all around the world, and it's really unfortunate to see that. It's really unfortunate to see that not that these emails get exposed, but that these emails happen in the first place. I don't know what goes through the mind of people when that kind of stuff happens. But yeah, it's definitely you get what I always think of it as you get what you put out. And if you put out an email like that, something in life's gonna come back at you and give you exactly what you gave.
All right, Tony.
Yeah, I'd agree, and I was going to bring up this topic that Anthony just asked, as far as since this happened, do we believe that John Gruden is done with the NFL? And personally, I think he is. I think this is one of those, kind of like Mike said, once that's out there, it doesn't matter now at any time. Now that the internet is available, and now that so many people have access to so much information, and the NFL is trying to be as transparent as possible to try to help counteract things like this. So I mean, once it's out there, you can't take it back. Somebody has screenshotted that. Somebody has read it. It is out there for everybody to see eventually. And I do think that, unfortunately for John, I think he is going to be out of the NFL for this. This is something that has definitely taken a lot of limelight here recently in the last couple of years. It's not one of those that's not going to go away. And, I think for John, I think he is done, because there's not going to be a lot of teams. There's not going to be a lot of players that are going to be open to that. There's going to be a lot of negative stigma that comes around with that. If he does go anywhere, I think, unfortunately for John Gruden, I think that's the last we've seen of him as far as in the NFL, and even going back to the broadcasting booth. I don't even think we'll see him on ESPN unless they're really, really desperate, and that would be a really bad move for ESPN. But I would highly doubt that they would do something that egregious.
Yeah. Just real quick, I just saw something. I was just reading while you guys was talking, and apparently he made some statements. He made some comments about some homophobic comments and as well as some misogynistic comments. So he made some comments about Michael Sam, him being drafted, and used a derogatory term about him, and as well. He talked about the referees, the women referees. He had an issue with that. So, in today's climate, in today's,
Right.
because we see what Dave Chappelle is going through. Like those are two things that you cannot do. Like you have to be really careful in terms of the things that you say, especially in regards to that community. So
Right.
just
And
saying
you
that
also
to
look
item.
at it. You also look at it, Kenny, as one of the players on the Raiders this offseason actually came out. I forget his name. He's a
Carl
defensive
Nassib.
player. Yeah, he came out
Yeah.
publicly. Carl came out publicly and said he is gay.
True. That is
He
true.
likes men, and that's completely acceptable. But for your own head coach to be making these jokes and making it's not even as much of it being a joke. Like I think like it depends your relationship with that person, but everybody's different. But it doesn't feel like a joke when John Gruden makes these claims and makes these statements. It feels like he truly feels that way about these people, about that culture and about their beliefs and their sexuality. He truly doesn't like any of it, and he truly doesn't like the change that's going on throughout the NFL with BLM and women being refs and so much more, and just open rights. The old age is gone, and like disrespectfully, because it stuff like that never should have slid. The Jackie Robinson days are over. You can't act a fool and you can't belittle someone because of the color of their skin or who they are. And they don't have to take it. Like these guys can easily walk into the front office of the owner's building and report you. And that's respectfully, that's your career right there. Like you're gone. It's not like, back in the day when you could just do that stuff. So for John, to Kenny's point, for John to even come out and then make those kind of claims after, it makes you wonder if John even cared of being there.
As I sit back and I listen to each one of you guys, you guys are correct on that. But I will say this, there's no way that he can come back and coach a football team after the things that that he said. Because as a head coach, you're supposed to be a leader of men. And my question is, how much will those players respect you as a head coach? There's that, and so what he did. Am I surprised? No, not in today's age. I'm not surprised about pretty much anything that goes on. But the question was, will he be back in the NFL? I honestly, I'm not gonna say that I can't see him coming back because I can. We've seen the NFL bring back, much worse.
Right.
So
Michael Vick's broadcasting now.
Yeah. I mean, shoot, look at Big Ben. I mean, there's a lot of the player for the Seahawks. I mean, so there's a lot of players that we've seen, had a second chance in the NFL. So I'm not gonna say that we will see him again. I'm not gonna say that we're not, because we just don't know because of
I will say this though, that he didn't help himself.
No.
Like, in terms of, even when he was talking about the apology or whatever, and he was trying to kind of control the situation and like, yeah, I'm done answering questions about this. Like, no, you don't get to decide when you get taken off the hot seat. Like you have to stand and show the proper contrition. And so I think he's going to have to really, show the proper, he's going to have to do the apology tour and the whole bit and really, do the sensitivity training and the whole nine, because there's no, everybody, this is America's Atlanta's, second opportunity, second chances. So, we can never say never or totally rule it out. But in order for him to be able to come back, he's going to have to do a whole lot of mending the fences. That's for sure.
And I'll say this, though. I think one of the most things you have to look at is Tony La Russa. Tony La Russa for the Chicago White Sox, he gets a DUI. He makes racial comments about, we're not going to get into politics, but he says something about the former president and immigrants and other stuff like that. But why does he get a second chance? Is because he's actually, and this shouldn't be a factor, but in today's day it is. He's actually a very talented coach and manager. Whereas John Gruden, I mean, how great are you? You know what I mean? Like, first of all, you're not winning football games. You know what I mean? You're not a great head coach. And what you're doing right now is, throughout your career hasn't been that successful. So on top of that, you're not a very successful coach. And then on top of it, you say all this. Like, if you were if Bill Belichick and all this stuff about Bill Belichick came out, I promise you that man never loses his job. I promise you that man would have a career somewhere in the NFL doing something. But for John Gruden, you're just, you know what I mean? Like, you don't have that luxury of saying I'm one of the greatest of all time, so he still gets a pass. You see Kareem Hunt, a very talented individual. Like Kenny said, you get a second chance even after on video kicking a woman in the face. Like, everybody gets second chances, but it all matters on how much you're respected throughout the league in general. And I feel like a lot of people before this even happened had problems with John.
And I think a lot of it goes down to too, like when he was kind of, trying to control the whole situation as far as like the media when he stopped answering questions. I think had his reaction been a little bit more like, coming forward with it, like, hey, yes, I did this. I made a mistake. I apologize. I will do everything I can to try to rectify this, to make sure that I am making amends and working, steps towards actually correcting this. Even if that means still losing my job, I still need to make amends towards fixing this. Then I think his future would potentially be maybe a little brighter because, hey, he acknowledged he made a mistake. Really, at the end of the day, that's what people want him to do. They want him to work on fixing this. But yeah, I think not only the fact that he tried to, I don't want to say cover, but he tried to, kind of deviate everybody away from that stigma and from that narrative, I think is just what hurt it even more.
Yeah, we got Anthony Price. He said second chance. I mean,
no, he did. Absolutely. That's why I said you can't totally rule it out because, we've seen example after example of guys doing some really, bad things. And
Greg Hardy, AP, Richie Incognito.
But again, but you have to. The most important thing is you have to, you got to do the right thing. You got to, make amends. You can't just be the same guy and try to come back. That's not going to happen. Like he's going to have to, show clear steps that he's taking in order to change his mindset.
Yeah,
that's a mindset. Like when you speak those things, you're speaking the things that you think and what you believe. So until he changes his mindset, it's going to be problems for him.
And not to change the topic, but how can you give Kenny? I understand everybody gets second chances, but how can Colin Kaepernick not get a second chance for speaking his mind, but John Gruden gets a second chance for saying something that's horrible? You know what I mean? Like, I don't think John, respectfully, I don't think John should get a second chance.
Perfect answer for that.
I would agree. But again, there's a, and we don't want to get too far in the weeds, but I just there's a privilege factor that goes, that comes into play too. So I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. Want to welcome Elena to the show. What's up, Elena? How you doing tonight?
What's going on? I'm doing pretty good. I'm glad I chimed in on this conversation. It's going pretty good so far, but I'm doing good. How y'all doing, fellas?
Vibing.
Before we let you give your take on that, but it was just Yoel. He came in the comments and he said, according to Adam Schefter, the Raiders and John Gruden are parting ways. I agree with you, Yoel. I know the statement, but you know what? We always know, at the end of the day, this is a buddy league. As long as you cool with certain ones. They said, we're going to protect your name. We're not going to put it out there that we fired you. So we're going to just put it out there that we parted ways. I believe this man was fired. I don't know what you guys believe about that. They just put it out there to parted ways.
They said he
resigned.
Resigned. That's what I mean. They're going to put out there that you resigned instead of saying that we fire you,
Yeah. If you didn't resign, you were getting fired.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say.
Again, that's, you want to put a good spin on it. And also there could be some money, situation tied into that, because remember he signed that big deal that was 10 years, $100 million or something like that.
The Raiders are lucky. The Raiders are lucky.
That's what I mean. So I'm sure that they're thinking of some ways in which they can try to recoup that money.
Well, that all comes out of, I think, the owner's pocket anyway. That doesn't come out of the actual franchise, so they're set on.
I'm just saying, I'm sure he's trying to figure out a way to.
Yeah, but I think if
have to pay that contract.
Saying I don't know the actual verbiage, and I could be completely wrong, but I think if he does resign, he probably forfeits a lot of that money too.
Yeah, I think whatever he already earned, and then the rest is just gone.
Yeah.
You know what? And to be honest with you, I mean, I'm trying to, it's hard when you go these conversations, and I don't like it because everybody don't get that treatment.
Right.
That's not the case at all. I just wish a lot of things was more fair, and but hey,
Consistency.
yeah, consistency, like be consistent with it,
Right.
But it is what it is, I guess. But let's move on to our hot takes on the NFL. I'm gonna go ahead and give my hot take because I kind of said this last week on Just Say the Truth, and it was so hot that I seen that Undisputed kind of stole my take, and I believe Mike and Tony they can bag me. I was the first person that threw this out there, but I think Shannon Sharp, came on the ASAP side and Skip, and they took it as a topic.
I bet he did.
Yeah. So last week, the Green Bay Packers played the Pittsburgh Steelers. With Aaron Rodgers, free agent decision looming. There's a lot of question where he will land, what team we go. We heard Denver. We've heard different teams out there. He will be a Pittsburgh Steelers by next year. You guys seen the wink that Tomlin gave Rodgers and Rodgers gave Tomlin. Could you imagine Rodgers finally having a Super Bowl caliber defense, a defense that he don't have to worry about losing him a game? Could you imagine him with an elite head coach and Mike Tomlin, who's a guy that other than this year will be his first losing season under his belt as a head coach in the NFL? Yes, I know they need to fix that offensive line, but I believe they will this offseason. I understand that. Hey, Juju, he might, hey, bye-bye. Because
he's already bye-bye. He out for
Yeah, he's pretty much done.
Devontae Adams, he's not locked down just yet. I mean, I believe Green Bay will franchise tag him, but hey, we don't know where that situation will land. As I do believe, because you heard Devontae Adams that he would still love to play with behind number 12. So if the Pittsburgh Steelers fix that offensive line, get a receiver here and there, I can see Aaron Rodgers end up in Pittsburgh because that defense is a Super Bowl caliber defense. And ladies and gentlemen of America, look at this man. Look at this man. Now,
Hey, that's greatness. Don't hate on
look
him.
at this man.
You leave that man alone.
It burns. It burns. He coming on this show. You must have forgotten what I told you. Do not come on this show with that Cowboy jersey on.
Freddie,
Wow.
you can only say it when you got more than 2 dubs in the win column.
Man, give us a hot take, Kenny.
Well, let me start by saying, one, that I'm glad you came on the show because I was concerned that you was in a deep depression after that beatdown that you took on yesterday. So I'm glad you actually had you had the heart to be able to show up and use one of your lines. But my hot take, I'm gonna stay local. I want to talk about the Jags. The Jags, I think they're losing at a rate that's going to get them moved to London. They're basically on. I think they're going to break this streak. They're going to break the record for the losing streak, and if they keep headed on this pace, they're headed to London. That's my hot take. Jags are going to break the losing streak record.
Okay. Tony, give us a hot take.
I'm actually going to kind of coincide with our man Nate here that the Chargers won the AFC West. I agree. I don't think the West is for the Chiefs to win this year, but I do think the Chiefs will go into the playoffs as a wild card, but not as the kings of the AFC West.
All right. I think Elena, she's trying to get back in here, but Mike, stand up. Mike, stand up. Beat the Raiders. Stand up.
We made dudes quit today. We made dudes quit after that. Yeah, Johnny boy.
So you know what probably actually got John fired, Mike? It was probably because Khalil Mack came back for that.
Oh, he was coming. He came for Derek's head. It was a crazy game. David Montgomery's out for several weeks. Don't matter. We're good. Rushed over 6th-round running back Khalil Herbert, like I said, is a dog. Rushed over 80 yards. Damian Williams rushed over 60. We had Justin Fields doing his thing. It was a great day all around. But my hot take is Eric Bieniemy. I think he messed up. I think he messed up on a part of not taking an NFL head coaching job last year. He stayed with the Kansas City Chiefs. He was viewed as one of the best offensive gurus in the league with Andy Reid. Sorry, that man's in my mind. I definitely think he messed up by not staying because this Kansas City Chiefs offense isn't looking that great. Travis Kelce isn't looking that great. A lot of these guys are just kind of trying to figure out themselves. So I do think at the end of the season, I think this is the season that Eric Bieniemy does at the end of the year say, I want to be a head coach in the NFL, and potentially has a lot of job offers.
But what did he turn down, though?
There were a lot of people shopping him, interviewing him for opportunities.
Yeah, I know he was interviewing, but I don't recall him getting an offer for it.
He got a lot of interviews. And I promise you, Kenny, that this man just wanted to stay in KC. He made it known he wanted to stay in KC. He loved the culture. He loves Reed. He wants to win more championships.
I don't think so, Mike.
Yeah, I'm
he's
not
going to be a head coach, bro.
Yeah, but again, it all depends. Like if the offer was the Houston Texas job, then maybe he did turn that down. And I don't know if I would have really blamed him if he.
Yeah, I think it all depends on
I believe it was I know it was Jacksonville, and a couple other places, but again, it's Jacksonville. That was before Trevor Lawrence. You really don't take those jobs.
Hey, what's up, Jonathan? How you doing tonight, my friend?
What's up, fam? How's everyone doing?
What's up?
We're
Good.
All right, Elena, give us a hot take.
Man, I think my hot take would be I think the Chiefs are going to be a wild card team this year, guys. I think they're going to be a wild card team this year. I mean, I'm sure that's probably not a super hot take, but I mean, just from what we've seen so far, they don't look like the Chiefs of the last couple of years. Patrick Mahomes no longer has that invincibility to him. He right. And that like Mike was saying, that offense isn't really clicking the same way that we've seen it clicked in years past. Also, their defense is trash. It's terrible. And I mean, everybody can score on them, and you can't really expect that team to go far in the playoffs if they're relying on Patrick Mahomes to always beat Patrick Mahomes. Like that's not gonna be enough to really advance them. And when it really matters, like when you get into the thick of things in the playoffs. So I see them being a wild card team because, believe it or not, fellas, like that division has gotten a lot better. It's not the Chiefs versus everybody anymore. There's a couple teams that are making noise that can make a run for that title. So I personally see the Chiefs being a wild card team this year. I'd be surprised if they're able to win that game, just because they haven't looked great as of yet. I mean, I'm not giving up hope on Patrick Mahomes just yet because it is Patrick Mahomes we are talking about here, but at the same time, I just don't think constructively as a team they're good enough to go far in the playoffs this year.
Hey, Jonathan, do you have a hot take you want to give us?
What type of hot take?
NFL hot take.
Well, I just heard the news that John Gruden was fired. I guess you could, call it being fired, but people gonna go with the politer word and say he parted ways, of course. But it didn't look good for John Gruden. I don't want to more or less say I'm surprised that they let him go, but I will say that I think I was caught off guard, like probably most of you guys. I don't know if you guys saw it coming or what, but I guess he did have it coming. It happened. He's no longer with the Raiders. But are you guys surprised, or where do you guys stand with it?
Pretty much everybody. I mean, we wasn't surprised. We knew that it was going to happen, but we just didn't know when it was going to happen. And my take is the Raiders knew, what he sent to those emails, players cannot respect him no more. He cannot lead men anymore after that. So, and like you said, I agree with the just being nice whole factor, not, and I just wish that it was consistent with everybody. So if you're going to let somebody say they parted ways, say that with everybody else, to protect their image as well. So,
right.
Yeah. No, but not surprised.
I'm not surprised with that either. I think with what he said and just with the times that we're in, especially with the NFL, they had no other choice but to let him go or him to be fired or however they wanted to slice it up. But like there was no way that they could have kept John Gruden in these times. I mean, you have race there, and then you also have sexuality culminated in one and the same. And with these times and the way that people are reacting to things, like people are a lot more hypersensitive when it comes to certain things like that. So there was no way that they were going to be able to keep John Gruden and still, I mean, and this is the Raiders we're talking about here. This is the Raiders that are in Las Vegas that are, trying to maximize every dollar, trying to market as much as they possibly can, and that's a bad look for them.
Right.
If they keep a John Gruden, you know what I'm saying, and like I said, in these times and what they're trying to do out in that market, there was no way that they could have kept him. So I'm not surprised.
Ladies and gentlemen, breaking
wanna-
news. Hold on, Jonathan. We got some breaking news. Tonight is the night that we get in breaking news. We never would thought we would get to this moment. We thought it was over. Ben Simmons has arrived in Philadelphia and has took a COVID-19 test as required by the NBA protocol. It looks like Ben Simmons and the Philadelphia 76ers are going to try to work it out or something.
No. That's not what's happening. No.
What's happening, Elena? Tell me.
Because that and also Ben started to realize exactly how much money am I going to miss if I don't show up to training camp.
So he did the Andrew Wiggins route then.
Pretty much. And it was like, you know what? Actually, it's not worth it. Let me just go ahead because they still have an option to trade him. They still can't trade him. That's still on the table. And he's made it abundantly clear that he doesn't want to be there. Philly fans don't want him there anymore. So that relationship is done. But they can't find a good enough deal for both sides just yet to trade him.
It's a James Harden move more than it is.
It's absolutely. He's gonna give half-assed effort, and you know what I'm saying. He's gonna do what he has to do just to receive his paycheck. But once that trade comes, he's gonna be like James Harden. Like Mike said, he's gonna be like James Harden. Wherever he goes, he's gonna be happy and rejuvenated, and he has all this life, and he's just ready to play basketball and get to work.
But you know what? I wouldn't trade him. I wouldn't trade him at all. You know why I wouldn't trade him? You have 4 years left on your contract.
Yeah, they absolutely have the upper hand.
And if I'm not getting back what I want in return, hey, I'm holding my cards and I'm holding them tight.
So I'm probably hopping on at the wrong time.
All right, guys, I'm gonna hop off. The Dodgers about to play.
All right, Jonathan, you have a good night, brother.
All right.
I just want to say one thing, Mike. I called that game last week on Real Talk, Bears and Raiders. I called that game.
Good job, Nate.
And you said you didn't even know what quarterback the Bears were going to play.
We didn't. We did it.
QB1 Justin Fields.
It was Dalton on Monday, and Tuesday it was sorry, I didn't say it, Freddie. On Tuesday it was Fields. So I don't know what you want me to say, Nate.
Good catch, Mike. Good catch.
All right. So
frustrating topic, Nate.
Tony, did you give us
we
your
still
hot
saw Dalton on Sunday,
Okay.
bro. We still saw him. So
we're gonna recap Sunday Night Football. We had the Chiefs, we had the Bills. You know, I went in my mindset going into that game last night. I said it was a must-win for the Chiefs. I said, okay, Chiefs, this is an example. Let's show the world that we might not have this great elite defense, but the three-headed monster, and Pat Mahomes, Kelsey, and Hill, we can still be a dominant football with this great offensive line. Bringing a Gordon into the picture, in the mix.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what, man? The Chiefs might be in a little trouble. Matter of fact, not no Mike too. They are in a little trouble. And you know what irritates me about the Chiefs is when you see a Stephon Gilmore, and like we said it before, go for a 6th round pick, and you know your defense is horrible, and you don't attempt to go get a guy like that. You don't go attempt to get a guy by Jalen Smith that gets let go by the Packers. Understand that the Packers got it, but you mean to tell me if the Chiefs called me and said, "Hey, we want you," you go to the Chiefs, the Packers over the Chiefs? I mean, let's be honest. The Chiefs have a better, in everybody's mind and on paper, have a better chance of being a Super Bowl caliber team than the Packers. Okay, you have Mahomes, you have those three-headed monsters. So you mean to tell me I can go to a championship team that need big key players on the defensive end, and I can be a big key to that team, and you won't go there? To me, the GM, they was not aggressive, and I think that's going to hurt them in the long run because they can't stop they can't stop Rona down there. I'm not talking about the actual Rona. I'm just talking about they can't stop nothing. I mean, if a snail went by, I mean, it's so bad. I can go out there. I can go out there about 250. Go out there and run the ball on them. I mean, I'm just being honest. Man. They can't stop nobody. And Mike, I'm just sitting back there like, man, and Patrick Mahomes is still, being Patrick Mahomes. But at the end of the day, you can't stop nobody. And hey, it's been time to show love to Josh Allen, because Josh Allen is a bad man.
My boy,
And he showed us some throws last night. And I mean, he do every week. Especially when they got they got Diggs down there. He definitely opened up his game, and when he got him another receiver in a running game, that opened up a lot of stuff. But Mike, what's your recap from Sunday Night Football?
Man, I've been waiting for this for a minute, bro, and I felt like being a Bears fan is the biggest reason why I didn't have hate on Patrick Mahomes, but I definitely it was like I was pissed. Everyone always saying, well, you didn't draft Patrick Mahomes. You didn't draft Patrick Mahomes, because Patrick Mahomes was never anything. He never was in college. He just wasn't that guy. I understand the hate. You didn't draft Deshaun Watson, because right now, love it. Love every moment of it, because that would have been bad. But at the time, Deshaun Watson was clear cut, the guy you take coming out of Clemson, winning a national championship. Patrick Mahomes was your third thought for all these teams. I imagine a lot of other teams take Mitchell Trubisky over Patrick Mahomes just because of Texas not being that kind of football school. And neither's UNC, don't get me wrong, but Mitchell Trubisky at least had those comparisons to Rodgers and a bunch of other mistakes that were so far off. But I always said this about Patrick, and it was my biggest thing was, I don't know who Patrick is. Like, I know he's flashy. I know he's talented. I know he's all that. But when you come into a situation with like that Thanos gauntlet of Hill, Watkins, Hunt, Reed, and Kelsey, and all these other, and a great offensive line and a pretty top 10 defense, I really don't know what you are. So
Mike, now you're not about to sit up and do that, bro.
I'm not being. You let me finish, Freddie. I'm not being disrespectful to who Patrick Mahomes is. Patrick Mahomes is a dog. Patrick Mahomes is a top 3 quarterback in this league without question. But the biggest thing is when you finally pay him that $500 million type contract, and all those other cats leave, you really don't know what you have. You have a talented quarterback, but you can't put anything around him because of how much money he makes. And now
that's not true.
How?
That's not true. His contract is team friendly, bro. It's not like that he's going in there and he's getting $40-50 million a year. That's not the case, Mike.
No, he still is. He's still making good money.
He's still
but that's average quarterback
like 33,
money.
I think, isn't it?
Yeah. That's not terribly bad. It's not like Dak Prescott getting $75 million in the first year, Mike. That's not the case.
But what I'm saying
counts
is
$22 million against their cap.
Why can't you get Gilmore? Is because now you're paying a lot of guys. You're paying Kelsey. You're paying Mahomes. You're paying Chris Jones. You're paying Tyreek Hill. You're paying all these cats. And to have big name brands, you have to pay that money. So you kind of start to have flaws throughout the depth chart and have all these other guys. That's why you have a horrible defense. I'm not saying Patrick Mahomes isn't worth that money. I'm saying that's the cost you pay when you have to pay that money. So you have to get a better defensive coordinator. You have to get a bunch of other guys to be able to go in there. You have to draft well, even though those draft picks are from probably range 25 to 32. In that first round, you got to hit on defensive players, and that's really what their focus should be in the future.
Well, there's go iPhone. All right. Hey, Elena, give us your recap from Sunday Night Football.
Well, to kind of to piggyback off Mike a little bit, I was really impressed with the Bills, because kind of like you alluded to, Freddie, is that I was looking at the Chiefs to see kind of what they were made of, like how are they going to bounce back after losing some close games, and see if, you know what I'm saying, if Patrick Mahomes was going to be able to kind of pull a Tom Brady and just put the team on their back and take them to the promised land. But what I saw was more so that the Chiefs are exposed now. And somebody actually pointed this out earlier. I was kind of just reading through different chats and things of that nature. But I think that them losing the Super Bowl last year kind of gave them a blueprint of how to beat the Chiefs. And I think that everybody's kind of picking and choosing how Tampa kind of picked them apart. I think everybody's kind of taking their turn at that to kind of take a chunk out of them a little bit. And I think that that's been really effective as far as the teams that they've gone against so far. Like you said, Freddie, the Chiefs might need to be a little bit concerned because they're not looking all that great. I'm really impressed also with the Arizona Cardinals. Like we gotta big them up because they've played some really tough games and they've been able to stick it out. They're still a relatively young team, but somehow, somewhere they're figuring it out. And I think that should be a testament to I mean just great drafting, great draft picks. I think all as well as Kyler Murray kind of coming into his own and really like taking the realms as far as being a leader of that team. And I think that they whatever the system is down there, they're bought into it. They're buying into it. They believe him as their future leader going forward, and it shows that and with how they play. I mean, every game that I've seen of them so far, of them being 5-0 this season, I've been really impressed. So those were my two major takeaways was, the Bills beating the Chiefs and kind of putting them a little bit down more than they already were. And then the Arizona Cardinals continuing to thrive and to rise and to kind of put the league on notice that they're the next hot team coming up.
All right, Kenny, what was your reaction from, the way the Chiefs, lost last night?
Oh, I think that the Chiefs defense is really, it's really putting the offense, it's really putting a lot of pressure on the offense. And right now, they're not at that explosive level that they have been in the past, season or two. And I think that's the biggest issue right now is that defensively, they're just a sieve right now. And in order for the Chiefs to win, they're going to have to score 30 points a game. So unless they get their offense into high gear, then they're going to be involved in shootouts, I think, all season. And we looked at all of these games. All of these games have been pretty much, in the upper 20s, low 30s. So I think that's going to, as long as this defense is suspect the way it is right now, Mahomes is going to have to be great week in and week out. Offense is going to have to be great every week in order for them to have a chance to win. I think that's the biggest thing is that offense has to be great every week in order for them to have a chance to win, and that's tough.
Yeah, Kenny, I definitely agree with you. Me personally, I don't believe the Chiefs can go back into a battling offensive game anymore. They can't go through a shootout because even though they was doing those shootouts a few years ago, they still had plays on the defensive end. And now that your defense is just giving up everything, you can't just always depend on those shootouts, man, because and that's the case. It just depends on who gets the ball last. And hey, if I'm the Chargers, I'm like, okay, I feel good about myself. If I'm the Browns, like you need to wake the hell up. Like what's going on? But yeah, I definitely agree with you on that, Kenny. Tony, give us your reaction.
Yeah, I'd agree. Not only am I impressed with the Bills, how they were able to handle it both offensively, defensively, and on their special teams, but I'm be honest, as bad as Kansas City's defense is, that offensive line is just as bad, and especially with all the pieces that they brought in. And I say that the Bills blitzed only one time last night. Otherwise, their front four was able to get to Patrick Mahomes and disrupt him. To me, that says a lot about A, Buffalo's defense, and that says a lot about B, Kansas City's offense. A, Buffalo's defense is really good, but B, your offense is really bad if they only need 4 guys to rush your quarterback and they can still get through. That is, to me, that's completely unacceptable if I'm a Chiefs fan, because you look at all the investment that they put into it. They went and got Orlando Brown from the Ravens, traded their first round pick for him. They went and got Joe Thuney in free agency. They got Lawrence Dornay Artif. He came back from COVID. From being up in Canada, helping as a physician up there. You got Kyle Long to come out of retirement. You got all these different. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry, Mike, because I remember watching Kyle Long. He's solid for y'all. I'm sorry. I know that probably opens the wounds a little bit. But you invest all of this into this offense, and you still have Patrick Mahomes. You still have Tyreek Hill. You have Kelsey. You still have Nicole Hardman. You even brought in Josh Gordon. You have all of these pieces to potentially still be great, and you can't just blame your defense. Patrick Mahomes is having to audible and do so much more. Honestly, like Elena said, this reminds me a lot of how they were in the Super Bowl when they got blown out. Patrick Mahomes is having to run around for his life. He's having to make stuff up on the fly and just literally throw a Hail Mary up literally every single flipping time and just hope that somebody catches it on his team. And
but Tony, I will say this though. The Chiefs put so much emphasis on this offseason about getting depth on the O-line position for Patrick Mahomes. I mean, hey, he really haven't been sacked that much this season.
Right.
Do you believe they put too much attention on that and just bring in guys and they just forgot about the defensive side? Or
I think so.
They brought in the depth, but that depth isn't doing nothing. I mean, I can have all the depth in the world that I want, but if none of them are actually playing to, because
your defense not help, the offensive line don't help the defense though, Tony. That's what I'm saying.
No, and you're right, and it doesn't. But I mean, like I said, if I go out and invest
helping them stay on the field.
Yeah,
like you got to be able to sustain drives.
I remember, and Kenny, and probably a few others remember. I don't know how many people watched Peyton Manning play when he played with the Colts. Look at the year that Peyton Manning
had a terrible defense.
Sorry, Elena definitely knows. Yeah, that defense was garbage. That whole team was garbage without Peyton.
All the way back to Dan Marino.
Because you would watch these cerebral quarterbacks go out and take 7, 8, 9 minutes to do just one drive. And heck,
because
that's
they
a
didn't
whole
want to put
quarter.
their defense on the field for that long. Yeah.
Yeah. And you just beat the other defense down. And Kansas City isn't able to do that. And if you notice, that's kind of what helped them get to that first Super Bowl and helped them finally win. Was they could do that to you. They could be on the offensive drive for a while, and their defense got to rest up a little bit. So that kind of helped make up for that. And now their offense can't score like they used to. So it's not even like they can really get in shootouts anymore. And it's not even like they can do long drives either. So their defense is really screwed in both ways.
Right. And
their issue wasn't the O-line though. They, like Freddie was saying, and it was never the O-line. They just were in when the last year in the Super Bowl their O-line was injured. So it's like you didn't really need to add more depth to the O-line. The defense was always suspect. So if anything, they should have invested more into the defense because now it's starting to show. You can't hide it anymore.
And I agree. I think Steve Spagnuolo needs to go because Steve Spagnuolo has been in the league for years. I remember him being the head coach of the Rams when the Rams were in St. Louis and they were basically just always losing.
07 Giants.
Yeah, the Giants.
You fail to realize that.
That's the only reason why he still has a job.
That's the only glory you got.
But to me,
you want to talk about Cowboys fans bringing up the past. You can't be bringing up stuff from like 15 years ago.
Didn't you just talk about this man being the head coach of the Ravens?
Oh, the Rams, but still.
Oh, the Rams, whatever. No. That's the past.
Right.
Yeah, that's the past.
I also look at it like this, though, Tony. I think a big part of it is how one-dimensional they are. I'll say it disrespectfully, too. Clyde is, sure, RB1 on any other team, that's fine. But on a championship caliber team, he's not that guy. He's definitely not that guy. You are missing Kareem Hunt. You are missing that guy who you could count on. And they never really, healed from that. I really think they never really addressed that. I think you drafted the wrong guy in Clyde. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe in a year from now he figures it out. But as of right now, I mean, your offense is so one-dimensional. So, of course, you're at Pat. You know what I mean? So they're at Pat's neck for a reason is because they know Clyde isn't going to be effective with the football. I mean, he's getting for the majority of the time, and on fantasy, Clyde is okay. You know what I mean? Like, he's getting over 100 yards a game. But that's because that's dead ball. That's dead ball time.
That's garbage time stats.
It's garbage time stats. It's dead ball time. It's really just rushing it up the middle because Patrick doesn't want to get hurt. And they don't want to get Patrick hurt. So it's definitely one of those things where Clyde, to me, just isn't a game changer. And he's not a game manager. And he's not one of those guys that you can really rely on. And I think that's what really throws this offensive line through a loop, too, is that for the majority of the time, this is a passing offensive line. Like, you are pass blocking. You are not rushing the ball at all. You are not doing it effectively. It's not even a threat. So the Bills, to me, didn't even need to blitz because, like to Tony's point, you blitz once because even if Clyde does come out there, it ain't going. It don't matter. I mean, the linebackers will catch up to him. He's not that elusive. He's not that fast. He's not your Ezekiel Elliott of old. He's not your old Saquon. He's not one of those guys going out there. He's not a Najee Harris type guy. He's just not at the end of the day.
All right. Well, let's move to the next topic. Hey, I don't care what nobody say. Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes are probably one of the most flashiest quarterbacks in the NFL. Probably those two skilled quarterbacks in the NFL as well. And both are must-watch TV. But if you're starting your franchise, who would you rather have as a quarterback? Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen? Tony, I'm gonna let you have the first shot at this one.
All honesty, and again, it's really no disrespect to Josh Allen. I'm going to say Patrick Mahomes, and I say that mainly because we've seen that Mahomes pretty much once he finally got the starting job, he has been at that high level consistently. There really hasn't had to be much growth with him. I think now that he started to be on the down low, we're going to have to start to see that growth to whether or not he can keep that. Now, I will say on the positive thing with Josh, he started out in really rough. They had to build the team around him. They eventually ended up doing that really well. And the biggest thing with Josh is, his accuracy on as far as throwing the ball. We know the dude can launch it 80 yards down the field. We got no problem with that. It's making sure that you're throwing it in your guys' hands. That's the issue. But I mean, realistically, I don't think you could go wrong with either one. If I had to pick right now based off of this season, I'm going to go with Josh. As far as he's a little bit more used to having to make up a lot of those plays kind of on the fly with what he's got. In all honesty, I think he's doing it with less. I think collectively as a team, it's better because they haven't had to pay Josh Allen that much money yet. But he's doing it with just a Stephon Diggs. He's kind of doing tight end by committee. He's got an old Cole Beasley. He's got an old Emmanuel Sanders. The running game is kind of the same, running back by committee. Mike Singletary is great, though, but he does have a solid defense behind him, which is extremely helpful. You've got Micah Hyde and Oliver. You've Tremaine Edwards. You've got Tre'Davious White. So this, as a whole, they're stacked. But I would say overall, by past experiences, by a quarterback that has proven time and time again, because you think about it, the last couple of years, Patrick Mahomes has had his way with the entire AFC. So if it's me, I'm going to go with Patrick.
Well, Tony, you kind of walked me into my debate, and this is why you have to go Josh Allen. There's no disrespect to Patrick Mahomes, like Mike said. And I was like, Mike, you still in my debate. We seen Patrick Mahomes come in a great situation. We seen Pat Mahomes with weapons all around him. Now, I don't know if you guys remember beginning of the season, I said this Chiefs team is not loaded on the offensive side like they've been in years. They don't have that much depth like they normally do. But they bring in a Gordon trying to fill in that Sammy Watkins position, role for this team. But hey, when you look at Josh Allen, just imagine Lamar Jackson having throwing ability like a Patrick Mahomes, like an Aaron Rodgers, but it can also use your feet, who can also make these amazing throws. That's what you get out of Josh Allen. The same fancy throws that you get out of Mahomes, you get them out of Josh Allen, but he can also use his legs. He also can scramble. Patrick Mahomes can run, but he's not no runner like Jack Lamar and not Josh Allen. He's not that. So when I'm looking at a Daniel Jones, and he have a really strong arm as well, just like Patrick Mahomes, but he's more athletic. So I will take Josh Allen as my starting QB over Patrick Mahomes. And that's not being disrespectful. I mean, he came into look at his coach. Andy, one of the best offensive-minded coaches in the NFL. And that's not being disrespectful to the guy. I mean, he's a champion. He's a Super Bowl. He's an MVP. He threw 50 touchdowns. I mean, that's crazy. But like I said, this dude came into a great situation, unlike most quarterbacks do in the NFL. And whoever want to run with it, y'all can run with it.
I'll go. I'm gonna be disrespectful too. I don't care. It's Josh. It's Josh, clean cut, and I don't care what nobody says because we just talked about it. With Kareem gone, that offense is one-dimensional. I like what you get with I was almost going to say Lamar Jackson because of Freddie. But I really like what you get in Josh Allen is the fact that he makes that offense by himself two-dimensional. He is your run game. And then on top of that, you have an amazing rookie in Moss. Mike Singletary is nice, but
Devin Singletary. Mike Singletary is running back.
But Devin Singletary
going back to the Bears, buddy.
Bro, I wish he was our head coach. But anyways, topic for another day. But Devin Singletary is nice, but Moss is your guy, clean cut. But regardless, if both of them are down, you still have a great rushing game. Josh Allen, if he wanted, could throw 100 yards and rush for 200 in a game. Like he could, if he sacrifices passing, all of that. If he sacrificed throwing over 30 times a game, he definitely could. And there's nothing anybody can do with it. With Patrick, he can run, but it's not really a strong suit. It's not really something, he has to do or that he's, confident in doing. It's definitely something that athletically he's there. He's definitely going to beat most guys. But when you're coming down in a championship game, Josh Allen is still rushing over 70 yards. Josh Allen's still that guy who's being that guy. He could chuck it 80 yards at ease. Like this guy and him and Aaron Rodgers were talking about having a throw off. And I promise you, I wish Aaron Rodgers was in his prime of just pure strength, because I feel like, and not that Aaron Rodgers isn't in his prime, he's definitely just won MVP. So who are you to say he's not? But
he's a bad
right,
man.
like you're 37 something years old. You're definitely not physically in your prime. So I'd love to see him shot for shot at 25, 27 years old going at it with Aaron. And that's no disrespect to Patrick Mahomes, but you just don't really know at the end of the day what Patrick can do offensively if he doesn't have amazing pieces around him. Like, he's still going to be a dog. He's still going to win you games. But you could see with Josh, even with only Diggs as your real only X factor, that, he can bring you to a really good place. Kenny, you can not just all that.
Yeah, I'm gonna let y'all finish.
But answer me this,
Go ahead, Kenny.
Answer me this, Kenny.
Kenny.
Yeah, I'm waiting. Go ahead,
Answer.
continue.
You got Kelsey, you got Hill, and you got Josh Gordon. Can't win that game.
Well, it's not now, Mike. I'm not now, bro. It's more than just Pat Mahomes didn't losing that game yesterday. It was more than just it was the defense. I'm just talking about quarterbacks. I'm not talking about yesterday.
But when they won a championship, it was Patrick Mahomes. They never talked about the defense. They never talked about other key players. It was Patrick Mahomes this, Patrick Mahomes that, Patrick Mahomes this. But now it's the
honey badger.
Y'all finish.
I'm finished.
Go ahead, Kenny. Go ahead, Kenny.
Are we talking? You guys are talking like Stephon Diggs is not a top 5 receiver in the NFL. Like Emmanuel Sanders is not a quality receiver. Like Cole Beasley is not a quality receiver. He's got weapons. Y'all making it sound like Josh Allen don't have no weapons. Man, cut it out. You getting carried away, and you're prisoner of the moment. 2 years ago, we had questions whether Josh Allen was going to be the guy in Buffalo. He had one good year last year, and now he's having another good year this year. Now, all of a sudden, we're going to forget everything that Patrick Mahomes has done. MVP, back-to-back Super Bowls, and now off of 5 games, now he's better than Patrick Mahomes. Y'all are bugging.
Nah,
Kenny, so you mean stop? Let's take away what they have accomplished. Take away what Patrick Mahomes accomplished, and look at the skill. Look at the skill. You mean to tell me that
so you're telling me throwing the ball, you would rather have Josh Allen than Patrick Mahomes?
I think Josh Allen brings more to the table offensively than Patrick Mahomes.
Exactly.
Only thing he does more is run, and the only reason why Patrick Mahomes he runs out of necessity. He'd rather beat you with his arm than beat you with his leg.
So Kenny, let me ask you a question: how much better is Patrick Mahomes at throwing the football than Josh Allen?
He's definitely better.
How much better?
I can't put a number on it, but if I had to pick one out of the two, I'm definitely picking Mahomes.
Is it by a mile? Is it like
it's not by a mile, but he's
okay? That's what I'm saying.
Clearly
better. And Josh Allen is a better runner than Patrick Mahomes by a mile.
Only because Patrick Mahomes would rather beat you with his arm than beat you with his legs.
Yeah,
and Josh Allen is finally starting to figure out he just started figuring out how to beat you with his arm. He's trying to beat you with his legs more than he was with his arm.
Yeah, if I put it as far as like their arm, I'm gonna put Patrick at a 9 out of 10, and I'm gonna put Josh at about an 8 out of 10. And I only say that because, like Kenny said, he's starting to learn how to do that. And again, accuracy has always been Josh Allen's big thing. Is can he put the ball in the right windows? And Patrick Mahomes, look at Patrick Mahomes. His first 2 years, he's threw 11 interceptions. Now he's thrown 6 in his first few games. So yeah, there's been a step back. People have started to figure it out. Patrick.
And
Mahomes.
why is that, Kenny? I'm not like Tony. He like Mike said, he had weapons all around him, bro. Yeah. Those weapons are not there anymore.
First of all, Mike is a disgruntled Bears fan. We can't listen to Mike. Mike has heard since Patrick Mahomes has been drafted is that the Bears could have had him. The Bears could have had him. The Bears could have had him. So I don't want to hear any. There's no There's no fairness in Mike's opinion when it comes to Patrick Mahomes. So we got to just X Mike out of this completely because he's not thinking with his head, he's thinking with his heart, and that's the Chicago thing. And I understand, Mike, because we from the same place, so I get it. But at the same time, you gotta think logically. When I think about these two quarterbacks, I think about one word. That's consistency. Patrick Mahomes is going to give me consistency. Patrick Mahomes is always going to be Patrick Mahomes. Josh Allen, on the other hand, one game he could be otherworldly. The next game, like Kenny said, we could be questioning his job. And that's the issue that I have with Josh Allen. Josh Allen is immensely talented. I'm not taking away from his talent whatsoever. But when it comes to being a quarterback in the NFL, what matters the most is how consistent you are. Patrick Mahomes, even with the defensive issues, even though the offenses are clicking the same way, we can all agree that Patrick Mahomes has still been Patrick Mahomes. Like he's still doing the same things that we've seen him do in years past that won him MVPs, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I still think that, obviously they still have time to turn it around. I don't think it's completely over for them. But comparing the two, if I'm going to start a team and say I want one of these quarterbacks to take me to the promised land, I'm going with Patrick Mahomes.
Yes, sis. If you have weapons all around you, and that's what we've seen.
Josh Allen has weapons too. He ain't divulged weapons. He got weapons too.
Yes, that's true. But he don't have no Kelsey
Vikings or the Detroit Lions or something. Like he has weapons.
He don't have no Kelsey. He didn't have a Kareem Hunt.
No,
he didn't have a Sammy Watkins.
He has a defense and he has weapons. We're not gonna sit up here and act like he doesn't have weapons. He got a defense and he's got weapons.
That's true.
Let's not do that.
Bail him out.
Let's not do that.
He definitely does. Yeah. But the way I look at it is, Travis Kelce. Let's talk about something like real. Like Travis Kelce last year wasn't just the best tight end in the league. He led the league in receivers in yards. They have two of the top three wide receivers in Kelce.
Preach, Mike.
And Hill. So I don't want to hear none of that talking about it's just because then you had Watkins too. On top of that, Watkins definitely top 20. You have Clyde
for sure.
coming off that. Sure. You have a good old line. You still had a good defense at the time. But why did they lose that championship? And it's really simple is the fact that the Bucs knew they're one-dimensional. So if you could kind of figure out how to just take care of the wide receivers, not Patrick Mahomes. You can't maintain Patrick at the end of the day. He's a dog. But, if you can just kind of maintain that passing ability, you have no run. So if I'm starting a team, and I love Patrick, I got mad love for Pat. Don't like his brother. I saw a couple videos coming out. He's kind of a jerk, but it is what it is. I don't care about his TikToks and none of that, but he's just kind of he gives me privileged vibes. I don't like it. But it's definitely one of those things. I'm looking at it right now is they lost that game because Clyde can't run the ball. So if I'm starting a team, it don't matter what back I have. I got Josh. So that's cool. I know I'm good with Josh.
Nah, that ain't enough.
Josh ain't enough. You can throw and you can run.
I got one counter to what you said, Mike, and it's only because the whole idea of Patrick Mahomes has all these weapons. We've seen teams, we've seen quarterbacks, bad quarterbacks have all these toys and all these weapons and not be able to do anything. Baker Mayfield, Jameis Winston. Look at that Tampa Bay team. They were literally a quarterback away.
Right. Clearly, we've seen it.
Chris Godwin, Humphreys. You have a defense. You got all of it. And they were just a quarterback away. So, again, yes, Patrick Mahomes comes into a significantly better situation than Josh Allen, by far. Better coach, better overall team, better everything. But, again, if you can't do anything with them, then it
doesn't matter. Absolutely.
Right. So, no, I definitely hear what you're saying. I just look at it as a perspective of, I'm starting a team and I don't know who my running back is going to be. So if you insert, Patrick Mahomes, you have a championship minded guy. You have a guy that's your franchise quarterback. He is definitely going to be a top 2 player at the position for the next 10 years. But if I'm building a team, I want to have that, I don't want to have these question marks of what happens if, Clyde is hurt. Clyde's going to mix the next few weeks. Where's their running game going to go to? I have no idea. It's going to be Pat. It's going to have to be Pat because they don't have any backups. They don't have any depth. They lost Kareem Hunt. They lose all of that. So, and the Kareem thing was totally, that was nuts. But it definitely, they didn't anticipate for that. You really can't. But with Josh, if Moss goes down, if Singletary goes down, You got Josh. Josh will carry you the way. So that's why if I'm constructing a team, I'm doing it like that.
How long?
But what is Josh gonna do? Let's say if Stephon Diggs goes down, what is Josh like?
Well, you already said it.
What is that?
You have Beasley, you have Knox, you have other guys.
No.
If you're counting on Josh Allen to be your leading rusher, how long is that going to last? And how long is he going to stay healthy?
How long is it lasting for Lamar?
Yeah, no.
I mean, it has, but again,
But Lamar Jackson, come on, are we really comparing Lamar Jackson as a runner to Josh Allen as a runner? Like,
they're very similar.
You got to look at it too.
What?
Okay, you can
they
rely
are
on them, but then what happens when they go down? Look at the Giants yesterday. You can rely on Daniel Jones's legs, but
don't you compare Daniel Jones and Josh Allen in that conversation?
Don't
you do that? Don't you do
that? Smart enough not to headbutt his way out the game.
The similarity in scenarios.
Don't you do that, Tony? Tony, don't you? Tony facts.
You cannot tell me the Giants do not rely on Daniel Jones running.
We do, but we ain't gonna bring them two in the same atmosphere.
No, he's not. But you still rely on your quarterback to run for you, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. You got to be careful whenever you do that. Same with Dak. We don't rely on Dak to run, but we like it when Dak runs. But again, look at what happened when he did run.
That's my point. That's my point that Kenny brought up that wasn't really what I was saying. What I'm saying is, you're not saying Josh Allen's my running back the entire game. But what I'm saying is I can count on him to be when need be, and he can be that if it needs to happen. I'm not saying every single week the game plan is Josh Allen's RB1 and QB1. I'm saying that if it needed to be an option for a couple weeks straight because my RB goes down, it can definitely be something that happens. Now, Daniel Jones is week to week your RB because Saquon Barkley's having these, tending issues and tending injuries that just keep lingering.
Man, he can't catch a break, man. He can't catch a break.
Freddie. But it really is a different situation because every single week the game plan is not only because Saquon's just trying to get back to 110 on the field, but he's also trying to get back to, I'd say 80% health-wise.
Well, and, again, not to try to go super off topic, but then, kind of look at Lamar's situation. Lamar don't have a running back. And right now they're getting stuffed by the Colts.
Lamar got like 20.
It's like 22-3 right now.
Jeez.
Lamar got like 20.
Yes, a victory for my Colts, finally. Yes.
Finally.
All right. Listen here. We're gonna recap this Giants and the Cowboys game. And even though I don't know why, I don't know why Kenny came on this show with this jersey on, coming here with his chest all out, him up here puffing and puffing, about to blow my house down. I mean, I just don't get it. I mean, they did something. They did something. The Cowboys did something they were supposed to do. They were supposed to be depleted, supposed to beat our hurt, supposed to beat our backup quarterback.
You can't let you off the hook like that. No, we can't let you off the hook like that.
What you mean you can't let me off the hook like that?
Because
we can't let you off the hook like that.
What you mean you can't let me off the hook?
How much trash would you have been talking if the Giants would have won? How much trash would you have been talking?
But the Giants got
I'm gonna let you guys go.
And he was on Facebook like they had won the Super Bowl.
Great stop defense.
Great stop defense.
Great stop defense.
Come on, man.
You ain't think you had a chance to win.
You wasn't invested, man. Come on, man. We know better than that. We can't let you off the foot like that, Freddie. I saw it and I said I can't wait till we get on the show. Because I know he's going to be like, the Cowboys did what they... No, bro, we saw it. We saw it.
That's what helps him sleep at night, Alana. That's what helps him sleep at night. Because I told you from the jump. We saw Jonathan made a post talking about it. If the Giants win, that we'll never hear the end of it from Freddie. Ooh. And my immediate response was, I have zero concern about that. There was no concern about that because this team, there's talent, there's levels to this. The Giants are not on the Cowboys level. I told you that before the season started. Like, your team is bad. Like, you don't have. Listen, let's just be honest. You already counting down the basketball season. Football season is over for you, bro. Go ahead and say it. Football season is over for you. You are ready for the NBA to jump off. We don't even. Matter of fact, listen. I understand if you didn't even want to come on Mondays. I understand if you just want to come on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Whatever. I understand because there's no reason for you to come on Mondays. There's nothing for you to talk about.
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Tony, put me on the big screen. To all you Cowboy fans that's want to brag, be happy. What's y'all record that y'all 4-1? You know what? I'm gonna tell you, I'm so happy that you won. Bravo. You winning your Super Bowl. Yesterday was your Super Bowl.
Pump
the brakes. Let me tell you this.
That was your Super Bowl.
No, it was not my Super Bowl. Because you know what? I will say
it was your Super Bowl.
Listen, prayers out to Saquon Barkley. That dude's ankle was big as some people's thighs. I mean, you gotta see that is big as some people's thighs. That was huge. That was kind of scary. Yeah. But listen, what I've seen out of my team, the first half, I seen Daniel Jones go out there. So you know what? I'm not going to turn the football over. I'm going to make timely plays. We was making plays. It was my defense finally stepped up. It stepped up. But hey, Daniel Jones, he do need to make a better decision when he's running the football instead of hitting his head against somebody else. I mean, listen. The Cowboys have had a lot of luck on their side this season. Let's be honest. You been honest. The NFL was a lot easy on y'all this year.
Freddie A. Smith.
The NFL went easy on y'all this year. Getting this bum schedule.
It was so it was so easy. Tampa Bay was such a tough game.
Yeah. Okay, y'all lost. You see when it get hard. You see when you play against bad teams, you lose.
Get out of here with that.
I mean, what team other than the Chargers? What team other than the Chargers did y'all beat was a good quality win? Was the Eagles a good quality win? No. Was the Giants a good quality win? No. Was the Panthers really? No. So where's this good quality win other than the Chargers?
Freddie A. Smith is incredible.
I mean, you have Michael Irvin. You have all these Cowboy fans. Oh, we going through the Super Bowl. Pump the break. It's 27 years of you being irrelevant, and you want to brag. You got beating the Giants. Really?
Ain't nobody bragging. You just in your feelings because
I'm not in my feelings.
You are.
Because Kenny, if you know.
The game was close in the first half, and in the second half, you guys got stomped out.
Why? Because of injuries. And you don't want to say that.
If you want to.
No, Kenny, be realistic. It was because we had a dude named Mike Lennon out there.
That's not true. Because, what was Kadarius Toney? Kadarius Toney still went off for almost 300 yards. Y'all's defense wasn't
there.
So let me ask you this. So did you think that you thought at some point you was gonna win that game because you was on there talking about good stop, D, good stop, D. We're in this. Get out of here,
at one point we had a chance. My starting quarterback and my lead receiver was on the field. We had a chance.
Yeah, okay.
Freddie, for you and Mike, I'm gonna send up prayers for y'all because the delusion that y'all have.
What has the coach done, man? What has the coach done?
First of all, let me finish because I'm honest about.
You got Carson Wentz. He's gonna save your franchise.
Listen, we are hot trash, and that was even I was irate when we got Carson Wentz. But that's besides the point. The point is the fact that you are such in this moral victory mode is hilarious. Because the fact that you are
what moral victory mode?
Daniel Jones held on to the ball is comical.
Oh, he's been doing that all year.
The fact
Daniel Jones has to turn the ball over.
The fact that you pointed that out as a piece as to why your Giants have some glimmerings of hope, comical. Like Freddie A. Smith is the
who's your quarterback, ma'am?
Comical. Listen, and we're not talking about me. We're not
talking
about me.
Why were we talking about me?
Listen, because I'm honest about my team. Y'all,
what did I do?
You hate Patrick Mahomes because y'all had a chance to hit him.
I don't hate him.
Boy, bye. And then Freddie, you, like I said, moral victory champion over there. Oh, well,
moral victory. I'm not the one that's stepping up on Cowboy fans. Think we're a Super Bowl team.
Listen, Daniel Jones is not supposed to turn over the ball. The idea as a quarterback is to keep hold of the ball. So I'm not going to applaud a fish for swimming. Like, he's not supposed to turn over the ball.
So what about that going to turn the ball over yesterday?
I can tell you why Freddie is all about these moral victories. And you want to know why?
Victories, like, stop.
Moral victory. I mean, hey, Elena, find your quarterback then talk.
You can't even.
Y'all want to know why Freddie is always so hype on these moral victories? Why he's like, yeah, Daniel Jones didn't turn over the ball. Daniel Jones has been solid. You want to know why? Because he saw that even through mediocrity that they still needed help. So who did they go get? They went and got the man himself. They went and got the clapper. So every time he sees Daniel Jones do something good, he's just clapping away.
Get him out of New York.
Like Jason Garrett loves to do, just clapping for that man. Doing great.
What's Skip call him? Coach Clap?
Coach Clap, exactly.
I'll tell you one thing. The Mara family, I bet he'd be gone soon. We ain't the Jones family. The Mars will get you up out of here.
Okay. That's right. Yeah. Just like you got rid of Dave Gettleman. Right. He still has his job. But go ahead.
No, I'll say this. I'm happy that Dallas won. Kind of like y'all said, they were supposed to win, and I'm not going to sit here like Freddie is saying that. Oh, they're going to the Super Bowl. No. One game at a time. We got an easy schedule, and then it goes into being rough. But also to that, Giants have a second place schedule, so you face second place teams. So that's where y'all finished last year in the division. So that's where y'all get to face. We get to face third place teams because we finished third place because y'all wanted to try to finish first as 6-10 and blame the Eagles for quitting. No, y'all don't get to do that.
Preach.
But there's a lot that was left on the field with Dallas, even though they did beat up on a very lowly Giants team. There's a lot of mistakes left out there. And Troy Aikman, as much as people dislike Troy Aikman, I will give Troy Aikman a very credited thing that he said yesterday. There was a lot of mistakes left out on that field, and we have not even begun to see the potential that this offense has because they left a lot of those mistakes. When Cedric Wilson dropped back as a quarterback, he had CeeDee Lamb wide open for a touchdown and just missed it. So there was a lot of mistakes made, but if you're still getting 500 yards of offense and your mistake is made, I'll take that as Cowboys.
Yeah.
I will take that all day, every day.
Freddie, just think, it could have been worse, buddy.
It's supposed to be worse. What are you talking about? You're playing against the third string. Bro, stop it. Like, no.
Kenny, it wasn't worse because Daniel Jones held on to the football. That's why it wasn't worse.
Right. Elena, did you even watch the game?
I'm just saying. That's why it wasn't worse.
He headbutted his way out the game.
So, with Dallas clicking on all cylinders, where do you rank them in the NFC? I'm gonna let the Cowboy delusional fans that come here don't talk.
You the one that brought it. This is your topic. You
want me to go?
Yeah, please.
Freddie's scared because Kenny and I are going to be realistic with it, and that's what Freddie's scared about. Freddie don't think that we're going to say, "Oh, they're number one." No.
They're ranked number 6. In the NFC.
Ahead, and who's ahead?
I have the Arizona Cardinals, number 1.
That makes sense. Okay.
Lead on offense, good defense. They won quality football games.
Okay, that's fair. By the way, that's fair. Okay.
I have the Tampa Bay number 2. You got to give respect to the champions.
Sure.
Tom Brady and them dudes. You see what they did to Miami yesterday.
Okay.
Number 3, I got the Rams. You see what Matthew Stafford doing down there in L.A. with Aaron Donald and the boys.
That's fine.
So number 4, he's a bad man. I gotta put the Packers at number 4.
That took a field goal to beat the Cincinnati Bengals.
A good Cincinnati Bengals. You got
hell no. Hell no.
Hell yeah, Mike.
Because the Bears bottled the Lions. The Bears bottled the Bengals, and the Packers barely got out against both of them. So hell no, don't miss it.
Talk, Mike.
Hell no.
Who's this 15? Who's the 15?
Yeah, who's the 15? But let him continue with his
numbers. Who's the 15?
He can't even say it with a straight face.
Hell no.
Who's the 15?
Get that smoke next week. Yo, bad man.
He's a bad man. You see him.
And that defense is bad.
You afraid of him. You know you're afraid of him, Mike. So stand up.
Neck, dog.
So,
they were 5.
Yeah, who's 15?
At number 5, it gotta be, and no doubt about this, it gotta be the 49ers. The 49ers.
With no quarterback.
Hey,
Goodbye.
Go for that quarterback, sir.
Goodbye.
Let's move on.
What?
Anybody else
Listen.
go next?
Goodbye.
You done.
No.
You done. No, you done. You done.
No.
You done.
No.
Honestly,
next?
Freddie, I respect.
No,
the
this
petty
me.
because
I got the
and
Cowboys
the
top 5. I'm
Cowboys
just
are the same
letting you know.
division. I respect the petty. Honestly, you should have just kept it like that.
I'm not being petty. I'm being honest. Elaine, can I ask you a question? Elaine, I want to ask you a question.
Of course.
And my mama told me you never ask a female about their age, but I'm about to break that rule. Just tell me, are you younger than 27?
I know her. She
I'm
was
30.
born in 91.
I'm 30.
She said it.
Thank you.
Wow, you was able
baby.
to see the Cowboys win a championship. My boy Tony had. Hey, Kenny was rocking little Jerry curl back in the day.
You know what's crazy? My mother is a Cowboys fan, and my grandmother was an Eagles fan. So I had a really interesting household growing up.
Same boat as me, because it's gonna be enough. It's gonna be. You're gonna have the same drought that we have. So just keep on laughing.
Oh, Kenny had a Jerry curl.
You headed to the same drought that we're experiencing right now. So
yeah, I'm gonna say, Freddie, y'all about on track for that drought. Yeah.
Hey, Tony, how old are you?
Yeah, you about on that drought.
How old are you, Tony?
Tony
ain't seen no championship.
When they won their last one.
Mike haven't seen no championship. I haven't. Elena can't even remember the last time the Cowboys in the championship. And like I said, Kenny was using so much of that Jerry curl juice, he probably done forgot that.
It was the 90s. Knock it off. Wasn't nobody rocking no Jerry curl except for on the West Coast and y'all country families. Get out of here with that.
Kenny, where you rate the Cowboys?
I got them 4.
4?
Yeah, Tampa Bay, Arizona, and the Rams.
It's disrespectful that you do not have the Packers ahead of them.
No way
Packers
y'all
are trash.
Again. The
Packers ain't good enough.
They got romped by Jameis Winston and New Orleans Saints, who are not that. They're not that good.
And what happened after that?
Who the Packers
They beat a bad Cincinnati Bengals team.
They beat the Lions.
Barely beat a Cincinnati Bengals team. They survived against the 49ers at home.
Because of what?
But of course, because Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback. Nobody's taking anything away from Aaron Rodgers saying nobody said that Aaron Rodgers.
So what makes the Cowboys much better than them? I just want to know this.
The defense is better. The offense has more weapons. It's more dangerous.
You talking about a defense that give up big plays? You was giving up big plays to Mike Lennon yesterday.
A defense that's turning teams over every week.
No, only person on the Cowboys defense is turning people over is Diggs. That's the only person.
Is he on the defense?
Hey, and Lord forbid that dude get hurt. Lord forbid that dude get hurt. Your defense going back the way it was last year.
That's all that matters. And the point of the matter is this: if you're picking, and you even yourself said the Green Bay defense is terrible, so I don't even know why we're having this discussion.
Well, it looked good yesterday.
Is Dallas defense better than Green Bay Packers?
They're about even. It's about even.
No. Let's move on.
No,
it's about even.
Let's move on.
Yes, there is, Tony. Y'all give up big plays, bro. Big plays.
How did the Chargers do? How did the Chargers do at home?
No, the Chargers kicked themselves in the foot.
17 points.
Bro, the Chargers stepped in
40 on the Cleveland defense.
Okay. And Freddie, here's my question. You want to talk about how Dallas, doesn't have any quality wins except against the Chargers. Who did the Packers beat that's a quality win except for the Bengals? Who did the Packers beat?
And that's not even really a quality win. That's not even a quality win.
Yeah, I ain't even counting that as no quality win.
San Francisco. Look at the division they're in, Tony.
Okay.
They haven't played those teams yet, though.
Detroit is trash. Minnesota is trash. Chicago is just okay. What are you talking about?
No, don't be afraid of Mike say they trash too.
That defense is legit.
They almost lost to Detroit. They almost lost to Philly.
Freddie, can I ask you something?
Green Bay.
Can I ask you something, Freddie?
Yeah.
Did we not just beat first of all, did we not beat 2 3-1 teams? Did we not body the Bengals when the Packers struggled? And did we not body the Lions when the Lions had the lead against the Packers going into the third quarter?
It don't matter how you won the game as long as you win, Mike. Don't sound like Cowboy people. We barely lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
So really, the only quality win that you have is against the 49ers because you beat the Lions.
And the Cincinnati. Cincinnati's not a bad team this year, bro.
And Cincinnati should have beat you.
Okay, so you have what, 2 quality wins, and you want to talk about who
they were
Dallas
losing
faces
to the Jaguars in the
wins.
second half.
So Kenny, you think Cincinnati's a bad team?
Yes. You telling me that team was losing?
But you didn't think the Panthers was a bad team. So I'm gonna tell you this: how delusional you Cowboy fans are. But you say the Panthers was a good quality win.
Statistically, their defense was first in the league, and they never trailed all year.
And the Cincinnati was 3-1 at the time too, Kenny.
Okay. And they're still a bad football team.
And they barely beat the Jaguars.
They barely beat the Jaguars. They beat the Steelers.
It's funny how you use the same. It's funny how you use the same judgment, and I brought it back at you, Kenny.
No,
don't let the delusional take drift you away from being logical objectivity to it.
No, who have the Bengals faced as far as quality opponents? The same as the Packers. Nobody.
When they've
did I say that? I said the 49ers.
Hold on.
The 49ers are not quality opponents. The 49ers are.
So the 49ers not great on defense, I'm telling you?
No, they're not.
Overrated. Overrated on defense.
Not at all.
They don't have Joey Bosa. Not Joe Bosa.
No, Joey Bosa. That's it.
And what has Joey Bosa done?
It.
What has Fred Warner done?
Torn ACL, Joey Bosa.
They don't have Jimmy G and them boys.
What Jimmy
G
hurt?
He wasn't hurt that game. He wasn't hurt that game. He wasn't hurt that game.
Okay.
He actually played good that game.
What did they do?
The
Packers almost lost that one too.
Because you know what? Just wait a few weeks. We got the Cardinals coming up. We got the Rams coming up, and watch we win both of them.
Go ahead.
We watch we win both of them.
You got me coming up, folks.
Oh, you talking about the Packers? Oh, yeah, the Packers. That's right. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Oh, Kenny, see there you go. Want to change my? You want to change my tune? Okay.
Oh, that's what we doing.
Yeah, that's what we doing, obviously. Mike, where do you rate the Cowgirls? I mean, the Cowboys.
I got them 5.
Wow.
I got them 5 because I'm looking at end of the season, what I'm looking at. And what I'm looking at the end of the season, top 3, it doesn't really matter to me. I think in whatever way you can put the Rams, Bucks, and
Cardinals.
The Cardinals. But at 4, I actually have the Carolina Panthers. And I feel like
what the hell are you doing?
At the end of the season, Christian McCaffrey, if we were looking at it from a health standpoint, will be back. CJ Henderson has Stephon Gilmore, learning from him, JC Horn. They're going to be able to blend very well. That defense is already great. So bringing in Gilmore, I feel like adds a lot. And if everybody, right, and if everybody stays healthy, and if my boy Luke Kuechly decides he wants to come back, but we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to talk about that. Until it happens, we won't talk about it. But he won't, but it's definitely, I think this defense is definitely going to be great once Gilmore gets there. And I think that's really what changes it for me with the Cowboys. Now, I'm not doubting the Cowboys. I think they're great offensively. But when I'm looking at that secondary with Gilmore coming into it, Horn being great, CJ Henderson being great, a bunch of guys just, being great. And that pass rush is pretty solid too. You got cheap guys on those deals as well. You can cover the ball well from a rushing perspective. You really do block up holes. So I like defensively. You still have Robbie Anderson. You still have all these other guys, Sam Darnold, Christian McCaffrey, so on and so forth. I think they got a really good squad, and I put them over that just because of the Gilmore trade. I think if Gilmore doesn't come in, I think, it's kind of a shootout between Cowboys and Panthers. But with Gilmore, I think that brings a lot more presence than people realize. It brings a championship mindset. It brings the Patriot way over to Carolina. And that's honestly what they've needed for a long time. So I definitely have the Carolina Panthers at 4, just by a small hair. But again, if Christian McCaffrey goes down again and is out for the season, I would still rather have the Cowboys. So I got Cowboys at 5 right now, but it can definitely change and evolve or, elevate or go down even, throughout the season. We'll see what happens because Zeke is a factor too. If Zeke's out, I don't know.
Oh, Tony Pollard.
But I like Tony. Tony gets rest. You know what I mean? If you game plan for just Tony, what do you get from Tony? That's really how I look at it.
But my only question is that how could you have Carolina over Dallas when we beat them head to head?
Well, I'm looking at large margin. You look throughout the season. I mean,
My question is, how can you give Carolina? How can you give Carolina over Green Bay? Like, stop it, Mike. You're talking delusional.
Name 5 players on Green Bay.
I understand is the NFC North. I understand that. Just take your hate and your delusional take.
Name 5 players in Green Bay that aren't Adams, Jones, and Rodgers. Go ahead.
Lazard, Randall Cobb.
Horrible.
Yeah, horrible.
Randall Cobb made a big play yesterday, so I don't know what you mean.
For him.
So do most geriatric people. They make one good move. Cool story. What
Mercedes Lewis. Mercedes Lewis.
I'm waiting for talented individuals.
Another like 37-year-old old dude.
But guess what? They 4-1, but they ass 4-1.
They are.
Where your team at, Mike?
3-2, and we coming for your neck this week to take the crown.
That's moral victory, Freddie. I keep trying to tell y'all.
Moral victory, they won. What are you talking about?
Y'all gonna listen to moral victory, Freddie? All y'all have to. But this is what it is. This is what
Let the coach win a game, then talk to me.
You know what? We're winning right now. So thank you very much.
Oh, you winning
very much. But I have Dallas. I agree with Kenny's list. I have Dallas at 4 as well. I think. The top 3 teams ahead of them, obviously, I'm going to have to see Dallas against those teams to really to measure Dallas as far as how great that team is. Because let's face it, like they haven't faced the most stiffest competition. Their toughest game was their first game against Tampa Bay. And they hung in there. But we don't want to be like Freddie with moral victory. So we can't really count that.
Period, sis. That's why you're my favorite.
But like I said, once I see Dallas against an elite team, then I could possibly they could probably go higher than 4. But right now, when the schedule gets tougher, then we can see exactly if they're above 4 or they're under 4. But right now, how it's currently constructed and what we've seen of Dallas and everybody else, I have them at 4 as well.
See, we're realistic over here in Cowboys Nation. We actually understand that there's a whole, you take it week to week because there's a tougher part of the schedule that's coming down the pipe. And so, and we have room to improve.
As might need to get the ventilators ready for Kenny. He might have a heart attack.
Leal Collins coming back. We got DeMarcus Lawrence.
I don't think the ventilator is going to help him.
We can be better.
Kenny going to go to the hospital with this phone because it's coming. And Kenny, you going to be the first person I'm looking for. You're going to be like, Kenny,
like I said,
what happened to this top 14?
Like I said, if you want to just drop out on Mondays, we understand.
No!
Because all you want to do for the rest of the year is just hate on all of us who have teams that actually have something to play for.
Dude, I'm so excited for my team.
No, Kenny, because you know what? I want to see this fall because it's going to hurt you, Kenny. It's going to hurt, and it's going to be painful because in December, we won't see the Cowboys in December because you better enjoy them. You better enjoy October. You better enjoy November because when December comes, good night, folks.
All that yelling ain't going to change the fact that your season is over.
It's over. We don't need to win another game. We don't need to win another game. All right, my season's over. You're right. You're right.
You want somebody to join you, but it ain't gonna happen.
No, I don't need nobody to join me on this ride. Because guess what? I'm gonna ride this ride, and guess what? You gonna win this Sunday against the Patriots. You gonna win the next Sunday. You gonna win the next Sunday. You might be 9-1 before you lose another game. But when you fall, because the fall is coming. Because guess what? One thing I will not let down. Who's running that organization? Jerry Jones. Did you see the news? They let Jalen Smith go. This how you can tell that Mike McCarthy have no pull in the franchise. He named him a captain on Monday, and they let him go on a Tuesday. So I mean, that you can't make those things up. You can't make those things up.
How did that affect it? How did that affect the team?
You want to know why Freddie loved that?
No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. There's a black cat running around that franchise, and right now,
if you close your eyes, you would swear that we're listening to Stephen A. Smith right now.
Freddie, who you gonna be? Are you gonna be Stephen A. for Halloween?
Mm-hmm. No. You know what I'm gonna be for Halloween? You know what I'm gonna be Halloween? You know what I'm gonna be Halloween?
What's that?
I'm gonna put an L costume on because guess what? When y'all take that L, I'm gonna show you what it look like.
L's for the rest of the season. That's the right.
Mike, Mike, I'm gonna tell you how bad it is. Last year the Cowboys lost. We didn't hear no Cowboys thing come out of Kenny's mouth. It's gonna be you gonna go to a coma. You gonna go into a coma. Kenny, you gonna be on a go to coma when they lose. You and Tony,
Freddie. Guess what though? When he wakes up, Saquon's still not gonna be healthy.
Well, it don't matter if he is or not. Listen.
I
don't wish injury on nobody.
Hey,
I can tell you why Freddie likes the Jalen Smith cut.
You start calling Saquon can't get right. Remember Life? Remember the movie Life?
Oh wow!
I didn't watch it.
Kenny,
that's Saquon Barkley's new name. Can't get right.
Kenny, you ain't right, man.
I don't wish injury on nobody.
Me either, but it can't get right.
Like when Dak went down, I'm sad that Dak went down because that was another excuse.
Oh wow!
I can tell y'all why. So you want to know why Freddie loves that Jalen Smith cut? You want to know why? Because it did two things. Jalen Smith was playing absolute garbage as a whole throughout Dallas. We watched him completely blow coverage. He was not the same linebacker that he was in 2018, 2019. So if Daniel Jones did that running play,
it's funny how the narrative changed when somebody not on your team no more. That's just funny to me.
Yeah, and then you happy because the Packers signed him. What did the Packers sign? Mo Trash. The Packers they signed Mo Trash.
He's not trash. I mean,
his other team. So he's
I only have one team in the NFL, Kenny. Jaden Smith's not trash. I mean, y'all just had too much talent.
Yeah, let's move on.
I don't know, Freddie A. Smith. It seems like you got more than one team.
No, I only have one team. That's the New York Giants.
We just don't have the receipts to prove it. Nate, if Nate got Nate don't have the screenshots of us.
We're gonna have to start extra recording these so we can go back, you know what I'm saying, for the receipts and be like, actually, right here is where you said X, Y, and Z, Freddie.
Elena, you be relevant, but let your teams be relevant. They come for me.
We are winning right now, so we are.
Yeah, right now. Y'all find a way to lose. Let's move to the next.
Ready. Real quick before we move, this is about to be year 15 since y'all won your last Super Bowl.
No, it ain't no year 15.
Oh, no, year 10.
2007.
10. No, we won it. We no, Kenny.
Yeah,
2010.
So you know what? Let's go there. You want to go there? Hell, I'll go there. Let's go. No, hell no. Let's go. You know my Giants are so bad. We're so awful. We're dumpster juice. We ran by bad management. Got just bad. Had an old quarterback in Eli Manning who couldn't throw a ball straight if his eyes was straight. Right? But we done won 2 Super Bowls. 2 since the last time you've been to one. How can you explain that?
How many Super Bowls do you have total?
All that talent that went into Dallas.
Are you finished? And you won those 2 Super Bowls and all that time. We haven't won a Super Bowl in 20-something years, and you still haven't caught up to us. Explain that.
Explain this. You let one man.
Don't slide past that.
There's 31 other teams. No,
Tony. It's not no 31 other teams. You let one man and Tom Brady come in the NFL and win 7 rings. How do you let that happen? And you call yourself America's team? You know what? You're right. Because guess what? We represent about mediocrity.
Then how did the Giants only stop him in 2? Why didn't y'all go to more and stop him?
Because guess what? We want the Cowboys to see if y'all can wake up and do something.
Why didn't y'all go to more?
If your team is so much better, why haven't your team won more Super Bowls than the Cowboys? Why? Please explain that.
That don't matter. That's irrelevant to the case. To my point, the point that I made that my team was dead awful, but your team can't even win more than 3 playoff games in the last 28 years.
And you still haven't won more Super Bowls.
I mean, how bad? I mean, you have all this damn hype. You have all this damn hype, Kenny. This team has had hype for the last 10 years. When you had Rumble as hype, you had Dez, you had T.O., you had Witted, and didn't do nothing with it.
You could talk all of that now. You could talk all of
and
that.
about to have the same thing now. You have Dak, you have Snead, Pollard, C.D. Lamb, Cooper. It ain't doing a damn thing with it.
Facts. It doesn't change the facts. You could talk all of that stuff. You could pile on all this nonsense, all these things to support your argument. It doesn't change the facts.
You know I'm right.
The facts are the facts.
You know I'm right.
Your team don't have more rings than mine. These are the facts.
It's because you have an owner who cares about being more than the owner. He wanted to be the coach. He wanted to be the GM. He wanted to be all that.
He going around the block, down the street, around the corner, make a left and a right turn. Get on, you can go take your chip all around every topic you can think of. It ain't changing the fact that the Dallas Cowboys have more rings than the New York Giants.
But what have you done lately?
It don't matter.
Be this glamorous franchise that haven't done anything. Have all this talent around this team that haven't done jack squat. But now all of a sudden you had this awful year last year. Now you beat a bunch of bums this year. Now all of a sudden y'all are back.
Listen, man. Listen, Freddie, Kenny, we gotta leave it at this, bro. Eli Manning, you had Dak Prescott and Alex Smith, but the most recent one to win was Nick Foles. Y'all both suck. I'm sorry. That's period.
Those are the facts. More rings. The ring count is.
It's the most recent, bro. Y'all both been bad. It's okay, but at least Kenny got something to look forward to.
They've been looking forward to it the last how many years, Mike? How many years?
Nobody.
Hey, I'd rather have Dak than Daniel Dimes.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
What has Dak Prescott done, Elena? You didn't talk about quarterback because you don't even know who your damn quarterback is.
All right. I'm gonna ask this one
I don't know
time.
who my quarterback is, but
Freddie.
I'm logical enough to know that I'd rather have Dak than Daniel Dimes.
Yeah, not seriously. We're gonna ask this question because if you're not gonna be objective, we're gonna end this show right now.
Justin Fields.
Exactly. Who are you pick? If you had to pick between Dak Prescott and Daniel Jones, who are you picking?
Justin Fields.
Dak Prescott.
Tell the truth.
That's a hard one
right now.
That's a hard one, man. Because they both bring different things to a team. They both bring different things to a team right now, but now overall in the future and career wise. Now, but right now I take Dak Prescott.
You're about to turn your mic off.
Right now I take Dak Prescott, but in the future, like career wise, I believe Daniel Jones will be a better quarterback.
Let's move to the next topic.
Mute him, Tony.
You're about to turn your mic off. Move to the next topic.
I'm just being honest.
Again.
He's a better thrower than Dak. I mean, that's facts.
He's a better thrower than.
He can throw the football, but he got a better arm than Dak.
Freaking team. Who is he?
No, interception is not a problem, Tony. It's fumbles. Okay, it's fumbles.
I would rather have at least Dak
you lateraling like to the other team. My bad. You still throwing. You just lateraling to your other team.
At the end of the day. And let's be honest. Dak Prescott has been in a perfect situation since he's been down in Dallas. Same thing like we said about Pat Mahomes. We got to say about Dak. He's had weapons all around him.
Been perfect about the situation. The defense is.
What you mean? You got one of the best running backs in the NFL, Kenny, and Zeke Elliott. You have one of the best offensive line in the NFL.
Time out. Did you just say we have one of the best running backs in the NFL? That's why Dak is better when you have.
What I said, no, Elena. If you want to repeat what I said, no, Tony. If you gonna repeat me, no, Tony. If you gonna repeat me correct. I said when Dak Prescott came in the NFL, he had one of the best situations. He had one of the best offensive lines, one of the best running backs in the game with the receivers. Hey, so he came in a better situation than Daniel Jones.
And what's Daniel Jones have now? Good receivers?
No, it's still a bad situation with a bad O-line.
Oh, wait a minute.
So it's the O-line
that said that the Giants' offense was better than the Dallas offense. Can we move on?
When did I ever say that?
Yes, please.
You said it before the beginning of the season.
You said Giants' offense was going to be.
And what did I say that it relied on, Kenny?
Don't start lying to the
I said it relied on that offensive line.
The offense is better than the Dallas offense.
Come
said that. Stop
man, since Kenny want to come on here and blast, his Cowboys and all that crap.
And knowledge and actual truth.
Let's since our time is winding down.
Thank God.
Kenny's over it.
Over it, man. I'm over this guy, man.
He's over it.
Let's go ahead and give
Kenny,
our top
this is why
five.
you need me to be here, Kenny.
Please.
You talk delusional yourself. So
no. I'm the bus driver, baby. We don't talk delusional
that
over
bus
here.
driver got some nails in that tie. He got some nails in that tie. You hit him.
No, I don't. No, we ride good, baby. Over
You don't know
here.
who
We
your
got
quarterback
good years.
is.
No, it's good years over here, baby.
What'd you say, Kenny?
You about to be banned from talking to NFL. You can only come on NBA night.
Oh yeah, because you know my team. We about to get number 18. Yeah, but we're not gonna talk about that. Though.
Gang. I'm with that.
On the real.
So we're gonna give our top 5 teams. Go heading into week 6. Both divisions. It don't have to be just NFC, just AFC. Both divisions. Tony, you haven't said much because Kenny wanted to come on here with all his nonsense about the Cowboys. So I'm gonna let you give your top 5 teams for the NFL going into week 6.
Going into week 6, it would have to be the Chargers is definitely going to be 1. The Bucks have to be 2. I'm kind of looking here. Some of the other teams, the Rams definitely got to be 1. The Cardinals, the Bills, and of course America's team, baby. We got to go Dallas.
Oh hell.
Oh.
Okay, Atlanta.
I'm gonna go the Bucks 1. I'm gonna go the Cardinals. Listen, until somebody defeats Tom Brady, I can't go against him. So I gotta go the Bucks 1. I'm gonna go Arizona Cardinals 2. The Chargers would be 3. I got Dallas 4. And then who would be my other team? I'm not sure about 5. Like 5 is kind of a toss-up to me. But even though they're currently losing right now, I would go the Ravens 5.
Now repeat your top 5 one more time, Elaine, please.
Okay, so I got the Bucks at number 1, Arizona at number 2. I got the Chargers at number 3, Dallas at number 4, and I'm gonna go Ravens 5.
So delusional. Okay.
You're a Giants fan. Don't talk to me.
No, for you, anybody that have the Cardinals on their top 5 team right now is very delusional.
I said the Cardinals at 2. What? You're not listening.
No, I was waiting.
Repeat that one more time because you left one team out. Mention it one more time.
Oh, I already know. I already know what Freddie's wanting to be
Bucks,
said.
Number 1.
Yeah.
The Cardinals at number 2.
Okay.
The Chargers at number 3. Dallas at number 4. And number 5, I got the Ravens.
See, so I can already tell you Freddie's list. I can already tell you Freddie's list.
Not have the Rams on their delusion.
That is going to be the exact same list.
You know what? Let me flip that. I'll go the Rams at 5. I'm sorry. You're right. The Rams.
So have them under the Cowboys delusion.
Freddie will take Dallas out at 4, and he'll put Green Bay at 4, and Dallas.
I'm not listening to Freddie.
He won't even be in the top
Mike,
5.
give us your top 5.
I got Cardinals at 1. Out of respect.
Thank you.
Can't say nothing till you beat. At 2, I got the Rams because the Rams beat the Bucks, so I got to give them that respect and I got to understand that. But got beat. They got beat by the Cards, so got the Cards at 1, Rams at 2, Bucks at 3 because even though they lost to the Rams, that's their only loss, and they are the Super Bowl champions, recurring every single player. And bringing in Richard Sherman, I feel like that's great. I will actually put the Chargers at 4 because I do believe the hype, and I do believe that those guys are going to be something to actually be a threat for the next few years. For the simple fact that we brought into the Patrick Mahomes situation, Herbert's cheap, man. Herbert's cheap for the next few years. He's cheap for the next few years before you actually have to pay him. So I definitely think they're going to continue to bring in people to help him. That was 4. At 5, man, I'm going to piss some people off, man. But I'm going to put Carolina at 5 because once Gilmore gets back and once I'm sorry, Kenny. I'm sorry. Kenny, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Kenny. I'm trying.
Y'all want Kenny to have a heart attack on here.
No, you just really.
But I had Dallas at 6. Can't even make you feel, but I had.
No. I'm just saying you were really projecting this Carolina team. So,
no, I mean,
you sticking with it.
Kenny remember them Jerry curls when last time.
I get what Mike's saying though, because they do. They got Brian Birds, they got Shaq Thompson, they got a linebacker. I can't think of his name. No, they do have Jeremy Chin.
That's what I'm saying. You projected on that defense. Now the question is about that offense and whether McCaffrey's going to be able to stay healthy, whether Sam Darnold's going to, continue his solid play.
Right. But that's why I'm not saying end.
No, I understand.
I'm going this week. I'll rock with it.
Kenny, give us your top 5.
All right, I still got Tampa Bay one out of respect to being the defending champs. The one blemish was against the Rams, and they pretty much taken care of business since then and kind of smashed the competition these last couple of weeks. Although it hasn't been, but they took care of business, so I give it to them. Arizona, I got Arizona 2. I got the Bills 3. I think the Bills, we were talking about them earlier. They have a really balanced team in terms of offense and defense. So I got them 3. I got the Rams 4, and then I got Dallas 5.
So delusional. My top 5. Cardinals number 1. They're undefeated, 5-0. Hey, that's easy. They're doing Kyler Murray's doing his thing with that defense, getting it done and still being 5-0, beat the Rams. So they doing exactly what they need to do. Number 2, I have the Rams. You bring in Matthew Stafford. You bring in a new rejuvenize this offense with him and Sean McVay. With that defense, to me, the defense took a step down, but you still have to give respect to Aaron Donald and the crew. And number 3, you got to give it to, like you said, the champions, Tom Brady and the crew. They did lose to the Rams. Number 4, I'm with Kenny, man. You have to have the Bills at number 4. The way they beat the Chiefs on yesterday. They kind of gave them the formula, the game plan, and Josh Allen them kind of said, okay, this is our chance. This is our moment right now. For them taking advantage of that game the way they did, you have to put them number 4. And number 5.
Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers.
He's a bad man. I'm going to Los Angeles Chargers. I'm going to Chargers. You got to go with the Chargers. I mean – there you go. I didn't say Aaron Rodgers. They're not in my top 5, not right now. But you have to go to Chargers. Bye, Kenny. Bye. Good night. I mean, if I'm putting them to sleep, I'm winning the debate that good. I mean, what have the Cowboys done? What have the Cowboys done? I mean, the Chargers don't deserve to be on a top 5 team. Mike, does the Chargers not deserve to be a top 5 team this year? What's wrong with my list?
You can't leave like that, Mike.
Yeah, no, he didn't say the Packers. He said the Chargers.
What's wrong with my team? What's wrong with my top 5, Mike?
Don't play with me, boy.
What's wrong with my top 5, Mike?
No, say that bad man stuff one more time. I'll leave.
He is a bad man. But what's wrong with my list,
don't leave,
Mike?
Phone them. Don't leave. Don't leave.
He actually did say the Chargers.
Bro, it'll pass.
I mean, let's be honest. I mean, is it a problem that I didn't put the Cowboys in my top 5? No.
Yes, it is a problem.
I got the Cardinals. I got the Rams. I got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Got the Bills, who just beat Patrick Mahomes, who you just got done bragging about. And then I got the Chargers. So what's wrong with that?
Well, that's a solid list. I'll give you that.
Solid list, dog. I just felt like you were going a certain way with it, cuz.
I did too.
No,
I am objectivity. I do bring objectivity. I mean, I got the Packers number 6.
No, you don't.
Maybe number 7.
Wait, who would be 6 then?
I'll leave, dog. I'll leave.
Wait, all right.
Honestly, I got him number 6.
I was like, who you gonna put better than them unless it's Dallas, and you're not gonna put Dallas over Aaron Rodgers.
Dallas is about number 7. I mean, if I'm being honest.
Put the Ravens, Dallas.
Ooh, I forgot about the Ravens. I think we all forgot about the Ravens, man.
Yeah, I would have the Ravens. Ravens would be my 6. Because you.
No, the Ravens be my number 7. I'm sorry.
About the Rams. You made a good point about the Rams, and I totally forgot about the Rams, which I don't know how, but. The Ravens would be the Ravens. And I forgot about the Bills too. But the Ravens would be
the Cardinals
on 6.
mine.
Because I mean, even
that's.
I know. I'm sorry.
Come on, Tony. Damn, Tony.
I'll admit that though. That was my bad. I forgot.
You know that shirt? You got a Panther on your shirt?
This is Eastern. This is a college.
I was gonna say. I was
no. That's the Eastern Panthers. I'm not a Carolina.
You know what I was going to say? When is this episode of you and Mike going to be dropping?
It's gonna be coming soon. I gave him. It's my fault I didn't drop this week because I gave him the wrong time. But I'm gonna lock in actually, Mike, with you after we're done with this, and we'll schedule another different time. But yeah, it was my fault because I gave him the wrong time because we're on different two different time codes. I'm on the West Coast. He's obviously Central Time.
You wasn't in Iraq no more.
I'm not in Iraq no more. So we kind of got mixed up
Tony,
there. But it'll be dropping soon. Time out.
Tony, me and you should have a problem with this. You call Tony the truth, and I'm Freddie Facts.
Right.
And you go to Mike. I mean, I love Mike. Mike's my brother. Mike's my brother. Much love to the dude. If anybody have respect for anybody on anybody in life, it's Mike, man. But
Mike reached out to me and asked me to be a part of my show, but I would love to have both of you.
Oh, okay. I get it now.
Yeah, I was keeping her show.
Yeah,
I get it now. I get it.
So that's what it was. It's no love lost. I would like to have all of ASAP on the show.
When she posted her merch, bro, did you buy her merch, bro?
Yeah, did you buy the merch?
I'm broke. I'm poor.
Mike did.
Hey,
not only did he buy it, but he reposted it. He reposted it.
Hey, the monthly dues don't go to me. Don't go to me. I'm broke.
I'm playing with you.
Hey,
no, but in all seriousness, I would love to have all of y'all on the show. So I would definitely be reaching out to y'all individually to have y'all on the show for sure. Trust me.
Well, as long as you ain't talking about no Cowboys, you ain't talking. We gotta have Tony Cat on the show. We gotta have Tony Cat on the show.
Hey, I got another cat. I got 3 now. I got 3.
Ooh, 3 cat gang. We gotta have all 3 of them on the show.
I got one Friday night by accident. I wasn't expecting to get her, and she fell in my lap. So.
Hey, but man, I felt really good. You know, I got Kenny to run the lead of the show. That's what makes me the GOAT of ASAP. The GOAT over here. I make you run. You see Mike, he my brother, but he ran. Kenny, he ran. At least Mike came back. At least that's all. At least I can say. But hey, man.
Respectful. I didn't.
Hey, Tony called me a bus driver because I take you to school, but I also circle the block in my bus. Don't get it messed up.
We're not gonna say that you ran over a few nails and busted those tires.
Listen, I know how to change tires, so it's all good. I just change and get back on the road.
That's the problem. You stop. I keep going. Don't
even worry about it. That's reckless. See, you're reckless. That's what all that is. You're reckless.
But this is another episode of Real Talk on the All Sports All Plays Network, and I will say this: we have a lot of things coming in the next few weeks here on the network. Next week, we're going to show love to the breast cancer awareness month. You see everybody wearing pink and all that great stuff starting on Sunday. And then the week afterwards, we're trying to put up this debate. You get to go against the one and only. We're going to find a network that we can compete against and where me, Mike, Elaine, I don't know if Tony said he's going to be a debater or a judge.
I will be there.
We win the crown.
Yes,
but
sir.
Man, hey y'all, until next time, this is the Real Talk crew here at the All Sports All Plays Network. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Fox D Network, and all that great stuff. Until next time, you guys have a great, wonderful night.
All right, our boy Alex, man.
For sure.
Yeah, hey, much love to him and his family. I'm so sorry for that loss. What he was doing in the media world was,
crazy.
Was real good, crazy. It just, hey man, life is just crazy.
It's too short. You gotta take advantage of every moment because life is definitely short. But major respect to his family. Man, he rests peacefully.
All right, peace, you guys.
Yes, indeed.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you to the